Good afternoon there. My name is Jason Voogt. I am the co-owner and agronomist with Field to Field Agronomy based out of Carman, Manitoba, and wanted to give a little bit of an update of what's happening in our south central Manitoba area, in the area that we cover. So there is 4 of us full-time agronomists, including myself, and 3 assistants that we hire for the summer. And so crossing over, many different crops. And so I wanted to give a little bit of an update as to what's been happening and what we're looking forward to. So the big talk right now and going into next week is insects. And so we've had a lot of issues with flea beetles again for canola growers this year. We have a number of growers that we've sprayed already 2 to 3 times and finding it really difficult. A lot of the populations that were pretty evenly split between striped and crucifer. Now after a couple applications, it seems to be the crucifers that are left, and I'm not sure exactly why, but what we're needing to look at going forward here is to really watch the field edges around bushes, yards, and last year's canola fields, really influencing the movement out of those areas. And so and the other thing that we've learned this year is border sprays are not working. If we're going to be tackling canola and spraying out these flea beetles, we need to be doing it as a whole field approach, which kind of is not great financially in the end, but at the same time, to try to keep this crop alive, to get it to that 3rd or 4th leaf stage that we can hopefully see it outgrow the competition of the flea beetles. Outside of that, what we're also noticing and that we're going to be focusing on going forward is grasshoppers. Nymphs have just started to hatch, and so we'll be looking at that going into next week. We've already seen a few edge effects of some feeding on some soybeans up in the Brunkild area. Other than that, we're going to be focusing on that. The other thing is weather, and we went from extreme cold, frost 2 weeks ago to extraordinary heat late last week, and actually into this week some really good warm temperatures, which has put a lot of stress on the crop. So what we've been focusing on with growers now is herbicide applications, really watching and giving the crop as well as the weeds that time to recover, because both will harden off really well, especially the weeds, and we won't get the efficacy out of that herbicide. So what we're looking at doing is trying to get guys to time their spraying to evening better than morning, mostly for the benefit of the crop. But if we can get some extra days before spraying to allow the crop as well as the weeds to recover, we're just going to get better control. Obviously, then what kind of ties into that is that what's the temperature? Well, generally, most weeds, most plants will shut down at 28 degrees, some a little bit hotter. So we have to kind of keep that in mind when we look at our herbicide applications going forward. The last thing that I'm going to mention is weeds. So we did touch on them a little bit here, but going into next week, it's going to be a lot of herbicide applications. We've already had a lot of coverage of our cereals and some canola, but we're going to be getting more and more into our special crops like our corn, soybeans, and even our dry beans going forward here. So one of the things you have to keep in mind is moisture and heat, and what we're going to see is a lot of changes in the weed spectrum. It's been mostly those cool season weeds. We are going to start seeing more green, yellow foxtail, barnyard grass, and other C4 warm season weeds like pigweed coming up here now. That is definitely going to help or focus our attention on and help us with deciding what to be using. So that's kind of what we're seeing and hearing. Nothing else really to report other than we're just trying to stay ahead of things. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.